Hello, and welcome to Anime Territory. I'm your host this week. My name is Jonny Ruhal, and with me is always my co-host is Benjamin, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for that golf girl and her little clubs too, shabbing.
Did you just make that up, or is that from a specific show you watched?
That's from a specific show that you watched. It's not a quote.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. I know, I get the reference.
But there's a reason why, because they've got magical Scooby-Doo masks in that show.
Okay, I got you.
I saw that part of that first episode and I had to leave because it was too hooked, and that defeats the premise of today's episode, which is you watched a bunch of sports anime. I watched a bunch of quote-unquote romance anime. There's two shows we watched together. And it's our spring preview, basically. Yeah. We didn't watch...
These are all new shows from this season.
Except for maybe one of the OVA. I don't know if it was from this season or last season. But it was still on the currently airing on Crunchyroll's PlayStation app. So we counted it. Just quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about real quick for anyone interested. The shows we watched together, which we'll be covering first, are Season 3 of Kaguya-sama Love is War and Spy X Family. And then I watched Aharon-san wa Hatarenai, Date Alive 4, In the Heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki, Love After World Domination, Shikamori is Not Just a Cutie, The Dawn of the Witch, and Trapped in a Dating Sim. What did you watch?
I watched Aoshi, Birdie Wing, Golf Girls Story, Fanfare of Adolescence, Heroines Run the Show, Love All Play, and an OVA called Soriaro Utility.
So we're going to kind of go back and forth talking to each other about them. Try to describe the show to each other and say if we should give it a shot or not.
Yeah.
Because I will watch a sports anime on occasion, as evidenced by our Burning Kabaddi episode. And it could be a lot of fun. And you'll watch romance anime, but not nearly as many as I've watched.
No.
Okay. So, let's start with I guess the inevitable Kaguya-sama Love is War.
All right.
This was the only show I knew that we would be watching for sure this season.
Yes, we've watched the last two seasons. We both enjoy it. So,
and it's more the same so far.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's overly dramatic. It's competitive romance. I don't want to say too much because it's season 3 about like specifics of what happened in this show. But it's more the same. Yeah. Intro is not as good.
No, the intro is kind of disappointing. It's still
good. I don't skip it. Like I skip some of the intros to these other shows that I watch. But
I don't think I skipped any intros. I just walked away if I didn't want to listen.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like when it's playing an intro and outro, I watch most of these on my phone in bed because that's just how I'm on vacation. I'm comfy right now. Mm-hmm. If you've heard me say I'm on vacation several times in a row, it's because we're really loading up on these right now.
Yeah, we're trying to load up on these.
So no, I'm not on vacation for like 4 months, but I am on vacation for 2 weeks, and you're on vacation for roughly a week.
Roughly.
And we're just like, well, let's just load them in. Let's get them done. So, the first 2 episodes, I'm happy. It's more the same. I feel like it's going to get more... I like when it gets more serious.
Okay.
And it's just like, okay, some actual developments might get made, but they're not going to have that in the first 2 episodes of it.
I like that, or if they like focus on like the comedy for the other characters. Like, I think the first bit is with Ishigami, and I'm just like, this is cool. I like this.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ishigami and... Spoiler, that one person, that one other girl, I think are sort of like the secondary couple in the manga.
Oh, okay.
So it's like we're starting to get more of them.
They're starting to like tease their relationship.
Yeah. And I think it might be sort of a controversial thing in the manga because it's just like, well, we can kind of split focus on our main couple and we can have the secondary couple and then we don't get as forward progression with our main one. So,
which I can see that as a downside for some people, but I like Ishigami.
Oh yeah, no, it's still
he's
quality
he's
stuff.
My favorite character, so it's like, yeah, give me more Ishigami. I don't care.
Ishigami is great,
and he's hot now.
He's always been hot.
I just realized it.
He's just never been an object of anyone's desire before, so you've not noticed it. But there was a little bit of that in season 2 when that other character gets introduced. So I'm fine with stuff taking like the back seat because, but I do want to. Obviously, I want more development between our main couple, but I don't think it's a bad thing that they're giving development to Ishigami and the other girl, whose name I will not say. For spoiler reasons, and because I cannot remember it.
I don't know the name, I forget.
I know what she looks like.
Yep.
She's not in season 1, I'll say that much.
She's not in season 1.
But, I mean, I don't really have anything more to say about
it's just
Kaguya-sama.
same with your similar stuff. If you like the first few seasons, I think you're going to like these.
It's overly dramatic.
Comedy situations that they get into.
And at the end of the day, kind of sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the other one that we watched together, which I think everybody is watching in the community is watching or paying attention to, which is Spy X Family. For those of you living under a rock or don't watch seasonal anime, but somehow watch this episode, or you've uncovered this in the distant future and it's the only sort of our civilization left. Spy X Family is the story of Lloyd Forger, who is
that his first name?
I think.
Lloyd?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And he's like the best spy in the world. Mm-hmm. And they're in not East and West Germany. Yeah. I think literally the city is called Berlin. Berlin in apostrophe T.
It's very much like World War II style Europe.
Yeah.
They're in.
So he's on one of the sides, hopefully the good side.
I think he's on the east.
Everyone we've seen that he's been up against seems kind of like an asshole. So, but he needs to infiltrate this boarding school, and the only way he can infiltrate is to have a family and have a daughter or a son go into there. So he's like, okay, I'll go to...
It's like, we need you to like either kill this guy or like get intel on this guy. But the only time you see him is like these PTA conferences.
Yeah, so you got to get into these PTA conferences. It's his only public appearance. Semi-public appearance. So he adopts a young girl from a shady orphanage. And her name is Anya, and her secret, everyone in this makeshift family has a secret. Her secret is that she is a telepath and apparently bored as hell and wants to be entertained. So, like, she knows that he is a spy, and she's like, that sounds cool. I need to get adopted by this guy.
So she, starts doing a crossword puzzle or something?
Yeah. So, like, he's like, I need a smart kid.
And
she needs to be at least 6 years old. And she's like, 6, I'm 6. Like, he's just thinking that.
He has, like, the orphanage guy's like, is she 6? She's like, I don't know, probably.
I guess. She says she's 6. She's 6. And then they're like, he has her do the crossword, but he's thinking of all the answers, so she can fill it in that way. And he's like, all right, I'll take her. And then the first episode is about, like, them adjusting to life together. Yeah. And, like, she keeps trying to follow him on missions and stuff. And she's like, Papa's a liar. Yeah. She just straight up tells lies. Like, we're professional tag players. I need you to go to the police station.
Yeah, that, and she'll, like, say, I don't know if this is work. I should probably just give her back to the orphanage. She's like, no, send me back to the orphanage. Just out loud.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing?
Then he's like, okay. And again, he does not know she's a telepath.
Yes.
I don't know if she has had the thought to let him know about that, or if she's deliberately keeping his secret.
I don't know if you should also bring this up. Like, he's given no instructions on how to do any of this mission. They're just like, you got to do this. Go for it.
Yeah, get a kid and a wife.
I don't even think they say that. They're just like, you got to get into this school.
Yeah.
Probably
the only way to do is to get a kid. So no, I think it explicitly says he needs to get a wife and kid in his dossier for the mission.
Well, probably not wife, because he's like, oh, now I gotta get a wife because of...
Well, I think the dossier does say wife, but he tries to do it without getting one, and they go, okay, this is... he tries to do it without getting one, and she's like, okay, she passed the test to get in, which he stole the answers and had her memorize them. But now it says there needs to be a meeting with both parents, and he can't be like... For some reason, he can't be like, "Oh, my wife died."
Yeah,
you know, I'm with solo.
Even though that's his excuse, never mind.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, you know, she needs a mom. I guess my thought process is they're snooty and they're like, well, we can't have a child with only a father. She needs to have a mother. So I think they'd be okay if it's not if it's a stepmother sort of thing.
Gotcha.
I don't know. We'll have to see in the next episode. Because episode 2 is all about the wooing of his wife.
The wife.
So we meet a character named Yor.
Yor what?
Y-O-R. Her name is Yor.
Okay.
And she's just kind of like this shy, awkward person
like
that does
office clerk, maybe something like that.
She's 27, which is our age. Just like, all right, we're getting some
age appropriate.
Which
I have dibs on. We're doing dibs count.
Oh yes, you do have dibs on her.
Yeah.
Which is like, dang, good dibs.
Mm-hmm.
And her coworkers are like, it's weird that she doesn't have a boyfriend or is married. She might be a spy. I heard they captured a lot of spies recently, female spies recently. And she's like, I've got a boyfriend. No, I'll take him to the party. Sure. And then,
well, it was there, or was it like when she was talking to her brother? Because I know she did that with her brother. Because her brother's like,
oh yeah, her brother's.
I'm in line for a promotion, but I can't leave because you don't have a boyfriend, so I have to like take care of you.
Yeah, I think she also tells her office workers maybe. And then she's like, all right, I gotta find a guy who will pretend to be my boyfriend.
Yes.
And then we find out that she then gets another call and is like, I need you to go take care of this. And she goes and murders some people because she's
an assassin.
She's an assassin on the side there. They're at a shop of some sort.
It's like a tailor shop.
Yeah. Okay.
Store. Yeah.
Yeah. She goes to get her dress fixed because it got ripped during her assassination. It's her only fancy dress to wear to the party. And then Lloyd and Anya are there as well. I guess to get Anya clothing.
Yeah, I think she needs clothes.
She needs measured. And Anya is just like, reads both their minds and realizes that they, okay, this woman is an assassin and needs a fake boyfriend.
My dad needs a fake
dad is a spy who needs a fake girlfriend. So she like plays Cupid and sets them up.
Well, she's like, oh, I have no mother. I need a mother.
Yeah, because yours starts to worry. It's like, oh, he's got a kid. I can't ask him.
Yeah.
So Anya's like, to the rescue. I'll say I need a mom. And then they can have a talk. And then it said, yeah, that should work. You know, she's like, can you pretend to be my boyfriend? He's like, well, I'll one-up you. Can you pretend to be my wife?
I'll be your pretend boyfriend if you pretend to be my wife.
And she's like, got it. And Lloyd's like, okay, deal. I do need to make this official somehow. I'll worry about that later. And then he's like, need to pick up some other jobs on the side here. And he gets a job that's like right as the party is starting. He's like, I'm going to have to be quick about this smuggling art heist. He's
got to like retake arts or
yeah. He's re-stealing some stolen art. And he's running late. Eventually, he shows up, like, yours, like, getting made fun of at the party for lying. And then he eventually shows up, and he's like, sorry about being late to my wife's friend's parties. And she's like, Wife? I thought he was your boyfriend. And he's like, fuck, I'm addled, and he's got blood coming out of his head. I got my story and theirs mixed up. But they seem to go with it. One of her coworker friends is like, this bitch... You know, I'm going to embarrass her by spilling this food. And she tries to pretend to trip and spill hot food. And Yor, like, kicks the tray out of the way. She catches it with her
foot. That's it.
Yeah. And he's like, impressive. It's like, some of my patients, because I'm a psychiatrist, had a violent episode.
Yeah, that's why I'm late.
That's why I'm late. They leave, and then more of the
bad guys.
The smugglers show up, and they've got guns and grenades. He's like, "Yep, these are my patients," and she's like, "Yeah, sure." She like believes him for some reason. And she's like, "We should actually get married." And he's like, "Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go to the
city council,
city hall right now and fill out the paperwork." I can't remember why she says they should get married for real.
She likes him.
Oh, okay.
This guy's awesome.
It's like, yeah, this is a good cover. Something, to avoid suspicion so she doesn't get arrested. She should just go ahead and go into it now. And he's like, "Yep, works for me." And he's like, "I had this ring I was going to use, but it fell out of his pocket. There's a hole in his pocket. It's something he grabbed from the art heist." It's like, this one's mine. So instead, he like pulls a pin out of a grenade and proposes to her with the grenade pin ring. And it's like, this is probably, and it was confirmed, that was a very famous manga scene. People were like, yes, it's been animated, finally. And it's like, okay, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this show looks like it's going to be a lot of fun if it keeps going like this. Yeah. I don't know nothing about the mangas. I don't know what direction it takes, but...
Yeah. Now, part of me, like, I know they're going to have some of, like, neither of them know the secret of any of the other people in there. And I just wonder how long that premise can last. Like, I don't want them to never find out about each other's professions.
Gotcha.
I just feel like that is too tenuous. I would want more development. If that
bit might get old too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody else mentioned that what they think is going to happen, and I don't think this is a spoiler because this was in the episode comments on YouTube, and spoilers are supposed to be marked and or never posted. But he's like, I hope they go, he or she, I don't know who it was, he, she, they, I don't know who they were. I hope they both independently find out about each other, but keep it a secret and think that the other one hasn't found out about their secret yet. So, like, Lloyd finds out that Yor's an assassin, but he's like, I can't let on that I know.
She might kill me.
Yeah. I can't let on that I know. And as far as I can tell, she doesn't know that I'm a spy. And then Yor does the same thing. Like, that could hold for a little bit longer. But
I think the other way they could go is, like, kind of the... I've never seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I think the premise is, like, they're spies for the warring factions. So they might do, like, she works for, like, the person he's trying to kill or something like that. And, like, the guy he's trying to kill finds out about him, so he has her try to kill him.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
That could happen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All I know is I just don't want that premise to hold forever. I feel like the bit would get old.
Okay.
And I want them to fall in love and become a family for real. Because that's how my lonely brain thinks.
They're all adorable.
Yes. Anya is super adorable. Yeah. So... do I think it deserves to be the fourth highest ranked anime on my anime list, which is
above Steins Gate?
Above Steins Gate, which is something I saw on Reddit today? No, I don't think so. But other people just said these are early reviews. Yeah. More reviews will come in, and it'll probably weigh it down. But it is fun. I'm glad that it's getting attention. So, okay, let's go. Those are the two shows we watched together.
Correct.
You caught one episode of one of the shows that I'm watching. I sort of caught Aoshi's general plot. And then after half an episode of Birdie Wing, I'm like, I'm paying too much attention to this. Like, I thought I could, like, not pay attention to it and play Pokemon in the same room. But I'm like, I gotta go to my bedroom. Because I'm paying too much attention and the premise isn't going to hold. So, but you, other than that one, you haven't seen any of what I've done, correct?
Correct. I saw one episode of Shikimori. That's it.
Yeah, you saw episode 2 of Shikimori. It's not just a cutie. So I guess I'll start with that one.
Okay, go for it.
Shikimori is not just a cutie. Premise is their main dude, super clumsy, and he has a lot of accidents and, like, things. He just gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Or, like, things somehow get launched at him accidentally or whatnot. And he's got a girlfriend, Shikamori, who he thinks is really cute, but it's like she's not just cute. There are some times when she's not cute whatsoever, which is a phrase she doesn't like. She wants to be cute. But he doesn't mean it in a bad way. He means instead of being cute, she's just cool as hell. She's just like constantly like blocking bad things from happening to him or catching him as he's falling down. So like he does not get hurt when she is around. Mm-hmm. And that's the premise. That's really all you need to know about the show. Yeah. Shikimori's cool. Main guy is a blank slate that wants to be cool too, but is a klutz instead. And they've got friends.
Okay.
That's about it. I don't know what to say about this show. Other than they had a ball sports tournament in episode 2.
Ball sports tournament was pretty good.
Every time they'd say ball sports tournament, I'd laugh so much. It's just like, all the classes are going to play soccer against each other. And all the classes are going to play volleyball against each other.
I like how he lasted
and basketball.
1 minute into that match.
Yeah, and before he got taken out and had to get taken to the nurses. But that's Shikimori is not just a cutie.
Are you going to watch it?
I will continue to. Who knows if I'll drop off.
Okay.
I said a lot of these times, I'm like, I'm going to continue watching this, and then I don't continue watching it.
Sure.
Though, some of those are because I say I'm going to watch it with you, and then we never continue watching it. So, if I don't have you weighing me down, I'm more likely to watch it. But I may get busy some Saturday, and then I'm not caught up for 2 weeks, and then I don't feel like watching it. So, who knows if that'll happen.
Okay.
So that's my first one. Let's move on to, and I would say you don't need to watch this one.
No, from what I saw, I think I can pass on this one.
So I think we should say that for each one. Should you watch it or should you not watch it? Okay. And I think you specifically don't need to watch it. Audience at home, if you like the premise of what I said and you're just in it for the cool girl, then by all means, top-notch cool girl.
Okay. So my first one was Aoshi. It's about this kid who plays soccer at this kind of like small town school, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the best player on the team. He's like a ball hog, but like the team like likes him though. They like rally around him.
Yeah, they make him being a ball hog their strategy.
Yes.
So, like, they've got his back.
It's like kicking and screaming. He's the Italian.
Yeah, he passed to the Italian.
Yes. Anyways, in this game, they're, like, tied. It's really late. And he, like, Zinedine Zidane this guy, which basically means headbutts him. It's a very famous soccer moment where a player headbutts this guy in the middle of a World Cup final.
That sounds cool as hell.
Yeah. One of the best players in the game at this point just headbutts another player during the World Cup final, gets sent off, and they lose.
God damn.
Yeah. Same thing happens here. But we learn why he did it. It's because that guy made fun of his mom. His mom, they say like a night worker. So I think she might be just like either like I would say like a bartender in those.
Yeah, kind of like Ryuji's mom she like. She's not a prostitute, but she's like there to serve the drinks and be flirt with the patrons sort of thing. So,
but yeah, he's just this really good soccer player. This coach from this prestigious like youth academy school or like soccer team recruits him for a tryout at their. Yeah.
It's not a school.
Tokyo.
It's like
It's an actual team.
It's a youth team associated with a club team.
Most all soccer teams in the world, your big ones have a youth squad.
Yeah.
So, it's not weird.
No, I figured that was fairly normal.
But yeah, youth coach recruits him to play because like he sees him try training this one drill. It's a really weird drill, but like he struggles at it, and then like he falls asleep on a park bench or something.
Yeah.
And he wakes up the next day, and the guy's still practicing, and he like does it right. So he's like, he's got it. I'm going to invite this guy to this tryout. So, what is it? He invites... The guy's name is Aoi, the main character.
A-O? Is that A-O-E?
Aoi.
Aoi.
A-O-I.
A-O-I.
Yes.
I would say... Ow. Aoi? I don't know. I'm not Japanese. I don't know. I don't want to butcher it. Don't make me.
I'm saying Aoi.
Okay.
Anyways, first he can't go because they don't have the money for it, but his older brother gives him the money to go, and then he goes to Tokyo for the tryout. Second episode is the tryout. The coach is like, yeah, you guys are all the people who, like, we're just trying to see if you're actually worth it. We, like, signed all the better players. We're just here to see if you guys actually can do it. Last year, we had the same thing and nobody made the team. So they're just like, okay, well, you could have told me that earlier. But, yeah, there's a training montage, basically. They do this, like, 7-on-7 drill. And, like, the main character's struggling with it, but he just makes this one play. And then that ends after that. And then they tease that there's going to be, like, this one last scrimmage to see who's going to make the team or not. And he made that team.
He made that he hasn't made the team. He's made the final
cuts, basically, to see if
yeah. Okay, we have one last thing for the people. Most of you guys are going home after this, but here are the people that we're still interested in. You have one last chance. Mm-hmm. You did not mention my favorite part of this show, which, like I said, I was in the room when you watched this. You did not mention my favorite part of this show.
The girl?
Yeah, there's a girl. That's all I needed.
The girl is the coach's, like, daughter-in-law? Or sister-in-law, sorry.
It's his sister. Okay, it's the coach's sister-in-law. I thought it was actually his sister.
Well, she says sister, but then she's like, oh, actually, it's sister-in-law.
Okay.
But she kind of is like, my brother-in-law sees something in you. I don't see it. And then he does that thing on the practice, and she's like, now I see it. So
we can be friends now.
Mm-hmm. And then the thing with the main character is, like, he can see the game like nobody else can, basically. He sees it the same way that coach does. That's why
I saw it. It was like the coach is, like, telling him, like, when you made this play during that, like, initial drill, it's like, when you made this play, your teammates were here, here, and here, and, you know, this is what it was like. This is where you messed up or something. Yeah. Like, even though you made it, this is how you got lucky or something. And he's like, no, actually, they were this way, this way, this way, this way. And he's like, wait, you remember where all 22 people were on the field at that time? And he's like, that I think more than anything else is what makes this guy think, you know, okay, this is...
And he does kind of the same thing in that practice thing. So, like, I think all the other coaches there see it as well then.
Yeah, so it's just like and he just, like, stands still for a while. It's like, that guy's giving up. And it's like, nah, he's reading the field.
Yeah, he's reading the situations. It's like he calls himself, like, a super forward or something.
He calls himself Genius Forward.
Genius Forward. It's like
Come on, Ben. You are the one who was paying attention to this show.
I don't care. But yeah, he's very cocky, very, like, selfish, but he does it for a reason. Or, like, there's a point to it.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts?
It's okay. It's going to be your standard sports anime.
Better or worse than Kabaddi?
I would say, as of now, worse. I think Kabaddi did a better job of, like, making the main character a little bit more interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Because I've seen that other character's archetype before. Mm-hmm. He's Davis from Digimon.
Yeah, basically. So it's like...
He's full of himself.
I want to give it at least another episode just to see. Because we've only saw... It's usually you get 3 episodes. We only did 2 because of where we're at right now. Yeah. So I'll give it one more episode.
Some of these I've seen 3 of, but...
But if you like soccer anime, if you want a sports anime and you like soccer, go for it. It does, as of now, an okay job of kind of actually playing soccer. It's not like make one play, spend 5 minutes talking about that one play they're doing. It's like, what are you doing here? They're all just talking for 5 minutes.
It's probably, and it's got more soccer than, say, Ted Lasso would have, correct?
Yeah, I guess.
that TV show that's about a soccer team. Okay.
But yeah, I would say you probably don't have to watch it. I'm going to give one more episode. See where it's at. But
okay.
It's just a typical sports anime, I would say.
Got it. So, my next one, which I guess I'll just kind of start going through my list here. I did Shikamori is Not Just a Cutie first because you you were sort of familiar with it. But I'm going to do Haran-san wa Hakarenai, or I think it's mostly just called a Haran-san. Okay. This is I would say, a fluffy, light on the romance. I mean, I don't want to say light on the romance, heavy on the comedy, but it's fairly light all the way around. This dude is like, I don't have a lot of friends. I'm going to be sociable and talk to the person next to me. That's how I'm going to start my high school life.
Okay.
And he's like, first things first, the person that sits next to him, he misses her name when she introduces herself because he's just thinking about something else. And he's like, oh, I guess I missed her name. And then the reason he missed her name is because she's so quiet. She has to talk in a whisper. Okay. And like she can't get louder than that. So he's like, oh, okay, that's why I missed it. And she's not ignoring me when I try to make polite conversation. She is responding. I just cannot hear her responses unless she's super close. So they like do a bit where they're like trying to figure out like, okay, what's some way that you can, communicate with me like normally so we can have a conversation. And one of the ways like, well, just pass me notes in class. And then she's passing like 60 notes. And it's like, okay, this is not going to work. Because the note just says hello. Yeah. And I don't know, they're just sort of become friends. She's got another friend who's basically like her stalker, just like watching her from afar. And you seem like a scary person, so she was trying to like scare him off. And Haran's like, no, it's fine. He's not scary. But she's otherwise also just like, it still keeps her distance so far. But they do little comedy bits, and I would say each episode is sort of like 2 to 3 segments. Gotcha. And it's, what do you call it? I would say put it into like comparisons to other animes that you are familiar with. It's, oh god, I had this earlier. Oh, it's like Komi-san Can't Communicate, but less self-serious and or like less ridiculous. Okay. And less romance so far.
Gotcha.
So that's how I would classify it. It's just kind of them doing cute little bits, and maybe they'll grow closer. Maybe that's not the point. I don't know. I'll have to watch to find out. So,
all right. So, what would you recommend it to me?
Not at this point. No, I'm assuming you just want more progress. I don't know.
If it's gonna go comedy wise, it's got to be funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be really funny, and it's more just cute.
Gotcha. I don't need cute.
Yeah. But that's Haran-san wa Hakarenai.
Okay. So my next one is Birdie Wing Golf Girl Story. This first episode is amazing.
I saw half of it.
I'm just going to tell you some things that are in the first episode. You have Mission Impossible / Scooby-Doo masks. You have trains, trick shots, and Shinjuku.
Okay. Forget it. It's Shinjuku.
But anyways, it's basically about this girl named Eve. She was like I almost want to say like a criminal golf player or like a street golf player.
Underworld golf player.
Yeah. Like she's not professional, but she's like, I think most of her jobs are just like playing golf against rich people and betting on it. She only used 3 clubs. She uses the driver, the 7-iron, and the putter. And her like whole thing is basically she shoots straight every time, regardless. So like there's this one scene where like there's a tree right in the middle of the course, so you get like this professional player, like she's either got to like slice it left or like aim right. She goes right through the center, like snaps off a branch of the tree and lands right on the green. And they're just like, what is this?
Well, the scene I saw, which was ridiculous. Well, first of all, the Scooby-Doo mask. We should explain that. She's
so
like
the
filling
very
in.
first scene is you were like on this PGA or LPGA tour. You see this like really famous golfer. She's like had a really bad week of golf, but like she's -7 on the day. She's having an amazing day, and she like needs to get the certain score to like keep her ranking in the tour or whatever.
Yeah.
So like she makes it, she gets her ranking, and then like in an office she like takes off the Scooby-Doo mask and it's this main character.
Yeah. She got a job to basically impersonate this other golfer to get her score up. And she's like, I just need you to get to this point. Do not get any better than that.
It's like, don't win this.
Yeah. You wouldn't understand, you're not a pro player, about the politics of all of this. And she's like, all right, whatever. And she gets paid and she leaves.
Yeah, and then she goes to like this bar that I think it might be her sister like owns, but they're like really poor and she has like 3 kids, I think.
I have a feeling that it's sort of a unofficial orphanage, and that all of them that live there are not actually related, but think of each other as family. And there's like, she's like, I do these jobs to keep these kids off the street. And then she'll take
it's technically a bar too, because she has like,
she's like, we're closed, and then it's like, it's just me. Oh, okay.
But like they have problems with like cops because I think they could shut them down at any time because whatever. But anyways, that's why she's doing all these jobs. And again, you go to like this time, they like go to this train yard. There's a golf course right next to it, and this old guy's just like, I'll bet you like $6,000 that I could beat you this time. And like he brings in a ringer, and you learn that the ringer is like the golfer that she just impersonated.
Yeah, she's in disguise at first, and then
shit you not, she drives she has her like caddy like do the first shot, and it goes like 70 yards, not very far. And it's like, this is your handicap.
Yeah.
And then her next shot, she just trick shots it through a train.
Through a moving train.
Like splits it. Doesn't go over or like under it. It's straight through like 2 carts.
Yeah, the gap between 2 train cars.
And then hits a rake, makes it bounce onto the green. And then this golfer just like, I'm done.
She quits after that?
Yeah, she forfeits.
That's awesome. She could be really bad at putting. You don't know.
Spoiler, she's not. But anyways, that's like basically the first episode. And we're also introduced to like, I guess the heel, which is just like this 15-year-old prodigy. Like both her parents are like professional golfers. And what is it? Her whole thing is like, she's like a professional golfer. She does everything right, but she does everything perfect. Like she hits every shot. So, like, they do, like, this one round because they're, like, right before another tour that she's about to do. They do, like, one hole just to play because she, like, the prodigy is, like, I like your style. I want to play against you. So they just play. And it's, like, one of those courses where it's almost like an L shape where, like, you got to go, like, around because there's, like, a forest on the other side. So this main character Eve's first. So rather than doing what everybody does, going around, she shoots straight through the forest.
Of course, I knew that was coming. She doesn't
get through the forest the first time, but she like gets halfway through. But then the prodigy does it the right way. But she hits the most perfect. Like they say, there's only one way to get an eagle on this course, and if you hit it perfectly, and she does.
Yeah.
So then the Eve's next shot is through the forest again. It's almost perfect, but she hits it like slightly to the left, and like the prodigy knows it. So you're like, oh, she knows her stuff regardless. And she's like, oh, if you would have only hit it slightly to the right. And then she gets it onto the green, and Eve's like, she has one shot to like get it, or else she's gonna lose. And it's basically, she's in the rough. She's probably like 100 yards, maybe not 100 yards, like 100 feet from the putt. And she's not on the green, so you would think she would like usually you would use like a 7-iron or like a wedge or something.
Yeah.
She uses her putter.
Of course.
And she just like hits it as hard as he can. There's like a little ramp there, so she like hits the top of the ramp, it bounces, and it like just misses the putt. So she loses, but it's like, damn, so close. But it's so cool, because like her approach is straight as possible. I'm not doing any of this pro stuff.
Yeah.
It's really fun. There's this golf underworld because she's like, I need a favor from this like under golf world boss.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
From my thing, it's like, and the shot that she went through the train, she was like, this is the blue shot, and she's known as like
It's
the
blue strike.
And then she's known as like the rainbow shot or something like that.
Rainbow strike or something, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, this is ridiculous and in no way realistic.
I think she just, every shot of hers is just as hard as possible, even her putts. Because I think every time she hits a putt, it doesn't go in, it goes like straight up to the pole and just drops straight down. So it's like, again, I only got 2 episodes. The second episode was kind of a little lesser because you kind of get a little bit less of that crazy underworld stuff.
Yeah, they're not trying to hook you in at that point. Yeah. They can start to develop something.
Mm-hmm. So it does. The second episode is a little bit of a letdown, but there's enough to where you're like, this is crazy. I'm in. Yeah. It might not end as well, but it's got me hooked. So yeah. This is a definite watch. I think you'd like this too.
Oh yeah, no, I had to leave the room because I liked it too much. I'm like, this is ridiculous. They might have superpowers with their golf shots. I'm in.
There's this one part where like this hustler is like telling people, "Oh, make this putt and you get $1,000." This seems like a really straight putt, but she has like magnets in the ball, where it causes them to like miss it every time. And that Eve comes up and she just like hits it as hard as he can. She like bounces it off like bumpers in there, and breaks all the bumpers and just goes straight in. So it's just like, this is awesome. This is.
Okay, so we're gonna watch that. Okay.
This is Birdie Wing is a definite watch. I think you would like it too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to one that I know you're not gonna watch.
Okay.
Because it's season 4 of Date A Live.
Okay.
And goddammit, I cannot remember any of the characters' names. But basically, the general premise of Date A Live, which I've told you this before, is there are people that can become like spirits, and then they're a danger to themselves and society. Like they could cause like mass explosions, and like the first spirit that showed up caused some sort of natural disaster type of thing.
Okay.
And there are different governmental organizations that are handling this threat differently. So like some of them are like, we gotta just kill the spirits, and another organization is like, no, those are like people, and that other organization enlists the help of this bland anime protagonist, and it's like, you got to take these spirits out on dates to get their affection levels up, and we'll coach you along these dates too. It's like, and then once their affection levels are up high enough, you can kiss them, and that will seal their powers. But like, they still have access to their powers. They're just no longer a danger to other people. It says like, because those girls stick around, and then they have to have battles with the new girls, is basically the general premise. Like another one shows up, and he's got to go on dates, and sometimes they battle each other as well. And then he's got to string along like 10 girls or something at this point. One of the girls who's from the first season, who's kind of like a anti-hero, not necessarily a bad guy, but not necessarily a good guy type of thing, that I cannot remember for the life of me. I know in season 1, she can like control time, which means that she can go back and like get a clone of herself. So there's like 6 or something of her when she's fighting.
Okay.
But like he made one of them fall in love with her, and then another one was like killed her. So it's like, well, you didn't make me fall in love with you though. And anyway, I remember that was the end of the first season, where it's like, okay, this one got away. He didn't conquer this one or whatnot. She's a force of chaos, and nobody really knows her true agenda. But I think it's sort of revealed later on that like she's kind of on their side, but has bad methods or whatnot. Anyway, the season 4 starts with her releasing another person from control of the other government organization, and that person, of course, the main character just runs into her randomly and has to help her because she's lying on the ground starving. Okay. So he carries her back to her apartment so that she can eat food. And she's like, oh, this is great food. And she's like, I'm this manga author. And he's like, what? I love your manga, but I thought you retired like 5 years ago. Also, you're a woman and not a man? It's like, yeah, it's my pen name. I retired 5 years ago because I've been captured for 5 years. And I'm a spirit. Isn't it your job to make me fall in love with you? And he's like, what? And then, so like she forces him to go out on a date because she knows her power or whatever is this book that can just tell her, she can ask the book anything that's happened. Okay. And it'll tell her all about it. Or she could write stuff in the book and then it's forced to become true because everything in the book is true.
Oh no. It's like in the Mouth of Madness.
So, yeah. So they go to Akihabara because she's like, it's been 5 years and she needs to load up on doujinshi and figures and stuff. And basically he's just her errand boy to carry stuff for her. And then like she tries to set up a situation and she's just like, no, I can't do it. I can't fall in love with you. You're not 2D. I'm only into 2D people. So they're like, okay, we know a character that she loves, so you got to go cosplay as that character. And so he cosplays as that character, and he acts just like that character, which is like cold and aloof. And it's like, her affection levels are high. Go for the kiss. And he goes for the kiss, and she's like, he would never act like that. I'm just happy being the observer of him. And then they're like, okay, but her affection levels did go up. So now let's try to... So they make a fake game where he's the main character of it. And really it's just him like reading out lines in live. Like they're tricking her into... It's just, you know, like... We're developing this game as you're playing it. And he's recording the lines so that he can, you know, best suit the needs. It's like, oh, this is really high tech. And she's like... And then he accidentally says something without any like response or prompt. And she's like, wait a minute. You guys are just tricking me. It's not going to work. So then they decide, okay, we've got to, let's just turn his life story into a manga. And she's like, that could work, maybe, but you guys, I'm angry at you guys. So what makes you think I'm even going to read it? And they're like, well, you're entering the Comic-Con, Kaminet, Kamiko, whatever it's called in that show versus what it's called in real life. You know, so if we sell more copies than you do, then, you know, you'll have to read it. And she's like, are you sure? I'm an established author and it's in 2 days. So they band together to make the manga and they got it. That's all I know. That was the end of episode 2.
Okay. And
it's like, okay, I guess I'll keep watching, but it's more the same and it's
you lost me.
Yeah, you don't watch it. I will watch it for completion's sake because I've already watched the other 3 seasons. I've got my favorite girls, so if I can't remember their names, but one of their names is Origami, and
more like Borigami. Am I right?
Her character type is bland and horny. So she's just like...
Yeah, you would like that.
She's just very like quiet and cool and aloof, and originally worked for the other organization. And like the main character at the start of the show, the main character has no idea, and then she's just like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and come out, like, I've got feelings for you. And like they're drawing the manga panels that they're drawing, they're like, we have to see who draws in the best manga style, and so they all draw it. And like hers is a very realistic drawing of him holding her naked. It's like, what did you draw? It's like, I whatever. There's a scene where he's trying to get her to not be interested in him because she's not a spirit, but she might have become a spirit in one of the other seasons. I don't know, but originally she's not a spirit, and he's just like trying to get her to leave him alone. Because he lives a dangerous life, and he just keeps saying all these like creepy ass things, and she's like, I'm into that. He's like, what? And if I can find I recently saw a clip on Reddit, and I'm like, yeah, she's fun.
Okay.
But yeah, don't watch Date A Live 4 unless you like Date A Live. But
okay. My next show is Fanfare of Adolescence. This is a jockey sports anime. So our main character was a idol who quits to become a jockey.
Okay.
Because I guess he just likes horses.
Got it.
But he goes to this jockey school where they train jockeys, and then it just basically becomes a school drama or one of those school shows. Basically, you got your classmates; they all have their different personalities, different things. And,
you know, those bland, different personalities that are always
there's the
there.
hothead, there's the quiet leader, there's the one girl.
Got it. I love that archetype, the one girl.
There's like the hippie guy who's like amazing at everything. Just stuff like that. There's the guy who sucks at everything. But yeah,
I didn't know you were in this anime.
Yeah. But that's essentially it. It's just he goes to this jockey school. The first episode is just him going to it, him having to like deal with the paparazzi and stuff, and then the second episode is a little bit more of him getting used to the school, him having to like basically learn to like embrace where he's at, I guess.
Yeah.
They say like he's not doing anything with like passion or like he's stressed. So just him just getting used to it, I guess. I don't know. I can't think of the words.
Yeah. Becoming more comfortable with his surroundings.
Mm-hmm. And then the third... That episode and then the third episode, because there are 3 episodes in this, you get introduced to this European exchange student who's like the bad boy. He's like good at everything, but he's a dick.
Gotcha.
So he comes to the school, he's good at everything, but he's a dick to everybody. And he's like, oh, I hate this school. I'm going to run away anyways. And like,
is it like
leave.
a Charles Winchester type bad boy, or is it like a bad, like generic boy band bad boy?
I would probably say more generic bad boy. I mean, he's not like cultured or anything as far as we know.
Well, it's Charles Winchester, character in
Okay.
MASH, which I've been watching a lot of, is like he is very good, but he's just very like arrogant and looks down on people. Is it?
Yeah, I
and
guess
he,
he
and
is
he's
more
a
Charles,
douchebag.
he is more Charles Winchester because he's like, you're not going to learn anything from the schools. The schools in Europe are better. I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah. So
why are you guys shoveling?
He's looking down
shit?
on them,
Yeah.
not like it's focused on. It's more of a I'm so good and you're so
Bad. Yeah.
you're so average that it's tearing me down sort of bad boy, and not a I'm so
dark. No.
I'm so tortured. It's not that type of bad boy.
No.
Gotcha. It's okay. I gotta. And when you're like, he's European, and I'm like, is he a pompous ass? Is that?
Nah, I don't get that sense. It's more he just thinks he's better than everybody.
Got it.
But then the main character kind of like calls him out on it. It's like, I mean, you're technically better than all of us, but you have like no soul.
And you got rhythm.
The horse hates you.
Horse hates you.
You don't think about the horse when you're riding or stuff like that. But eventually, he like says something, and then the bad boy's like, "Fine, I'll stay." One, because I like this guy, and the other one is like, I want to beat this guy's ass and all this just to prove him wrong.
Got it.
But that's basically your plot. It's okay. It is kind of intriguing. I think I'll probably still watch it. I don't think you will like it, but it gives me just enough to like, I'm interested in where this will go.
Got it. So the fact that you started it, you'll probably continue it, but you don't think it would be worth watching. You don't think it's worth picking up? Because I mean, I'll watch whatever.
I mean, if you're interested in like jockey stuff or like just want to get your typical sports school anime, then sure, go right ahead. But if you're not interested in any of that, it's probably not worth picking up.
Yeah, so, okay.
Just a couple notes. There's a ghost horse in it.
Ghost horse.
The
Why didn't you lead with that?
Sorry, there's a witch. The Witch of the Waste is in there.
What?
There's a character who looks exactly like the Witch of the Waste.
Okay, but they're not like that's the Witch of the
No,
Waste.
no.
Okay.
Then the pop like idol band he was in was called Mr. Doctor.
Okay. Did you write that down in the?
No, it's a bad name.
I like Mr. Doctor.
No, I think it's an awful.
What
name.
about Dr. Mister?
And I think there's.
What about
songs-
Dr. Dog?
their
Wait,
songs
that's
are
already
just-
a band.
I think their songs are just like playing up to like them being Dr. Mario, something like that. Because it's like, let me give your pills of love or something. I don't know. I might be making
that's
this
what
up.
Dr. Mario was all about. The
Yeah.
pills of love.
I don't know. Anyways, there's like one scene where they like go to a horse race and they're kind of like just gentlemanly betting on like who they think will win, and you get the sense like the main character has that typical protagonist thing where like he can just see things other people can't.
It's like, oh, this horse that everyone thinks is the favorite is gonna slow down at the last minute because there's like this something horse wrong with
that's
her.
Like in like the middle of the pack towards like the last corner, and he's like sees an opening for him to like go take the lead, and the horse takes it. So you're like, okay, so he has that sense.
Yeah, he can see he remembers the position of all 22 players on the field. Okay.
The last note was that the opening does bop, and the closing's pretty good too.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think the opening bops.
Might have to listen to that at some point.
Also, there's a Benjamin in the credits. I don't know what for though.
There's a Benjamin.
It specifically states Benjamin.
A well-known fact about us. Well-known, like 3 people know this about us because we hang out with like 3 people. Mm-hmm. But we always look for we always look for Bens in credits because of your fascination with people that I know named Ben. Because it's not even like people you know named Ben. It's people I know named Ben. That's the fascination.
It was just something we started after watching
Star Wars,
Force Awakens. Yeah. Like, there's a Ben. There's like just a lot of Bens in the opening credit, or like
ending credits, or whatever.
Ending credits, or like, man, that's a lot of Bens. And then ever since, every time we watch a movie, we had to watch the credits and look for Bens.
Some Benless productions: Evil Dead 2, Airplane. If the movie is a Benless production, it goes a little bit higher in my head.
It goes a little lower for me.
So it evens out. It balances out. It's a balancing act. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll talk about my next show. Okay. In the Heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki.
Okay.
So, premise of this show is that all the characters live in this ninja training village separated from the real world, and they've never seen men before.
Oh, okay. Now I know the show you're talking about.
And they basically, they're being trained to be ninjas, and they've never heard of men before, and they're like, there's rumors that that there's going to be another like ninja clan is going to be doing some training exercises in the mountains next to them, and at the same time, the main character Tsubaki, her 2 teammates like run away, and she's like in trouble because it's like, you're the leader of this team, and they ran away into the mountains on tonight of all nights, when there's supposedly men in there. We learn that the 2 teammates ran away. One of them is like had overheard the rumor that there's men in the mountains, and it's like, and she's in love with the main character Tsubaki.
Okay.
She's also like a little bit younger.
Okay.
And it's like, I need, I'm gonna go and impress her by going and beating up all these men in the forest. And the other girl is just like, she can just be easily bribed with food.
Oh, okay.
So she's just along for the ride, and she's kind of like, I don't know if we should do this. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I'll give you my cut of the I've been hiding some potato skins or whatever. I can give you my cut of. And she's like, all right, I'm in. Main girl is like, there's men in the forest, and she's just more like kind of intrigued. Like, I think she's just kind of reached that age where normally she would start being into the opposite sex, but there is no opposite sex around. So she's like, I don't know, I'm just infinitely curious. She catches up to them and like captures them ninja style.
Okay. And
then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, it's okay. And then they use that as like, I tricked you. As you were giving me a hug, I tied your hands together, and we're going to run off again to go beat up the men. And at one point, they're like, don't you want to go like spy on them? She's like, well, maybe we can spy on them, because she, again, is curious. And then they hear a male voice, but they don't see a male voice. They don't see a male voice. They don't see the man. And then they're like, we got to go run. And they run away. And she's got them captured at this point, so she can force them to go back. Second episode is, I don't need to describe the second episode. That's the premise of it. It's just like, she's sort of interested in men.
Do we see a man yet?
We see his outline.
Okay.
And one of the characters, the girl that can be bribed with food, she's like, "Oh, I saw him. I can see really well in the dark." And it's like, "Well, what does he look like?" And use transformation jutsu to turn into what he looks like so we can see. And she's like, "Okay." And it's like, "Oh shit, she's bad at transformation jutsu. She accidentally turned into a fish." It's like, she didn't see a fish, but she could not turn into a man. So it's like, okay, whatever. It's just more of the same. Like, she's interested in men. Yeah. The one girl is like, I need to
protect her.
No, it's more like, I want to impress her and spend time with her, and I will get in trouble because like they're like a year apart or whatever, so they have separate classes sometimes. And she's like, "Hey, you want to sneak out and go be with her?" And it's like the friend that's with food is like, "No." It's like, "I'll give you my potatoes." It's like, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll be your cover as you go sneak out and bring her a flower." It's kind of a trope I don't like. I don't like that character trope. They do it in Railgun too, where it's just like the underclassman that is like desperately in love with the main character, and it's just like, chill out. Yeah. just chill out. They like you fine as a friend, and they don't want to sleep with you, so please don't be so overeager. But that's the show. I don't know. I guess I'll keep watching it. It's the art style. Somebody mentioned in a comment, where that art style came from, like what it actually reminded me of, and it's the same author as the guy who did Teasing Master Takagi-san.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like, oh, okay, that explains why she's got that like giant forehead.
She's got a me forehead.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that's where I've seen this art style before. Yeah. Got it. It's fine. It only had 2 episodes. I had a 3 next to it, but that's because I was numbering how many of them I had. It's okay. I guess I'll keep watching it a little bit. We'll see. It's got some cool ninja fights.
Okay. Would I watch it?
Yeah.
Didn't think so. Yeah. Alright, my next show is Heroines Run the Show. This is not a sports anime.
We knew it wasn't a sports anime.
I know.
But in the first description, it described the main character as a track star. And it's like, I think it's a track star turned idol.
You're wrong. That's not the premise. So, our main character's small town girl. She moves to Tokyo for school because she wants to continue to do track. But the school in her town doesn't have a track team. So, she has to go to Tokyo to be on the track team. So, she goes to school there. In her first class... Or in her class, she sits between 2 idol stars, male idol stars.
Okay.
Who are in a band. They're a duo.
Yeah.
She sits right between them, but she doesn't know who they are.
Because she's a country bumpkin.
Yeah, she doesn't like idols, or she just doesn't know of them.
Doesn't follow the scene.
Mm-hmm. And they're mean to her just because they're kind of pompous. Yeah. They're just, they say later, it's like, we're only going to school because our contract says that we have to get an education or something. Yeah. And those two, the 2 idols hate each other. So they're always fighting. And it's she always finds a way to get in between them. Anyways, right when school starts, her dad gets hurt and her dad can't work for a while. So money's really tight for them. So she says, I'll get a job to help pay for my expenses and everything.
Yeah.
So she goes looking for a job, can't find anything just because of her hours. She's on a track team in school. It's hard to find a job. She interviews for a manager and training job, and she gets it. And she's like, "Why did you choose me?" I'm not really qualified for it. And the manager was like, "Because you go to the specific class in the specific high school." She becomes a manager for the idols that she goes to school with. So then the second episode is just her getting used to the job. She has to go to their photo shoots and just be there, I guess. Just
be their handler.
Get them stuff, get them their coffee and clothes and carry their bags and everything.
She's their intern, basically.
Yeah.
But paid.
Yeah, paid intern. She gets 1,500 yen an hour.
So that's $15 an hour.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. It's not bad.
But yeah, and then it's just her like trying to like become friends with like the two idols, but they're still like assholes who just don't care. They call her a potato face. She's got those like cartoonish like huge eyebrows that you have.
Oh,
sometimes.
okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The sexy eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sexy eyebrows. Sure, it's fine. I mean, she's cute. It's fine. But that's basically the show. So
do you think it's going to turn into like a love triangle romance, or do you think it's just
no?
Okay,
I can tell you why. There's implied that one of the one of the men might be gay.
Okay,
because they're like, oh, he's not interested in girls.
Got it.
I think it's just more of them becoming friends.
Okay, all right.
You know, her slowly getting on their good side, or like them.
Do you think I should watch this show?
I think you would like it.
Okay.
I'm going to keep watching it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you would then recommend it to other people, or are you just recommending it to me because you know me so well?
I would say give it a shot.
Okay.
Do the whole rule of 3. Watch your first 3 episodes. If it's not you can probably drop it, but I liked it.
I am writing down the ones that I'm going to check out. So Birdie Wing, and what's the other one?
Heroines Run the Show.
Heroines Run the Show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say about Heroines Run the Show?
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay. So my next one is Love After World Domination, which is basically if the Red Power Ranger started dating one of the bad guy...
Rita Repulsa?
Not quite Rita Repulsa, because she's like the one in charge, sort of. But like a lieutenant.
Gotcha.
You know, a star combatant, but not the leader of the bad organization. Gotcha. And they find time to spend time together while the rest of their teams are like fighting each other down there. And then every once in a while they have to fake fight each other because it's like, we're on this picnic. And then the Blue Ranger comes up, like, we can really use your help. And he's like, God, like they just quickly switch to fight mode. And I don't know, it's just them being like, are you sure we should hold hands? Like, it's our 3rd date. Typically it happens on like the 2nd or 3rd. It's like, man, kids these days are so forward. It's just like she's like, I want to go on a real date too, not just like when we can sneak away from combat. And he's like, okay, you know, and then he's like, what do people do for real dates? Because he's really only good at like, he really just body builds and is a superhero. That's about all he does. And then the Yellow Ranger, who's like, this guy is supposedly like somewhere between 15 and 18 because he's in high school. Mm-hmm. And the Yellow Ranger, I would say, is somewhere in the early 20s because she comes up and she's got a beer in hand. So it's like, okay, so she's slightly older. And I guess is kind of treated like an older sister character type thing. And so she's a little tipsy and she's like, there's no rules to dating. Just do what you enjoy. You know, do what you both enjoy. And it's like, thank God. So like he shows up and he's just wearing like a tank. He's wearing like athletic gear. Yeah. And they're like, let's go to the gym. And they go weightlift and do workouts at the gym. And she's wearing like typical date clothes.
Oh, okay.
But like people at the gym are like, damn, these 2 people are impressive. Look at the weights they're doing. And he's like, all right, I thought we'd go and eat now. And he pulls out like a pack of like protein bars. And then she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then it takes a while for her to come back from the bathroom. So in the meantime, he gets a call. And it's the older sister figure. It's like, I think I gave you some bad advice yesterday. There are definitely some do's and don'ts of dating. Like, make sure you dress up. Make sure, you do something, sort of romantic. And don't just do this. Go to a nice place to eat. And he's like, I broke all the rules.
Okay.
And, like, time keeps going by. It's like she's not coming back. She's been in the bathroom for a long time. I guess I'll leave. And then finally she comes back and it's like, oh, I've had those protein bars before. I thought we'd need some drinks, so I went and bought drinks. And she's like, oh, she showed up. She's into it. And that's what I've seen so far. She's adorable.
Okay.
I don't know why she works for an evil organization. They're not doing that, like, I'm going to turn you good thing. They're just sort of into each other.
Okay.
So, it's, I don't know what to say. It's, I'll keep watching it. I was reading the Reddit comments, and people are like, I said this to you already, but I'll say it for the sake of the podcast. People on Reddit, or at least the comments I saw, or like, oh, it's so funny, what a good guy, and they're just explaining these things. I'm like, these are just like, they weren't that funny, first of all. And the good guy trope is like so common. Like, what a great guy. Yeah. It's just like, what are these comments? Why are people this impressed with the show? And then I realized, I'm an adult now. And these are children.
These are probably
children commenting. Got it. They've not seen 30,000 other anime just like this, like I have. Mm-hmm. So, I get it. Probably not going to check out the episode discussions for this. Mm-hmm. So, let's just go back and re-look at the episode discussions for Sunny Boy. That's what I'll do. Anytime I want to watch a new anime's episode discussion, I'll just go back to an episode of Sunny Boy's discussion and watch that. Okay. Read that. I do really appreciate those comment sections for shows, because that basically tells me, oh, hey, that show's out. I can go watch it. Got it. Because I'll, in downtime at work or something, I'll browse Reddit. Don't have time to watch a show, but I'll see, oh, that new episode came out. Cool.
Watch that after work. Yeah. I got you.
So I don't regularly check Crunchyroll, so, or I don't know like what days of the week things come out.
So would I like it?
I don't know if I'll finish it.
Okay.
I'll watch more of it, but it's just sort of whatever.
Gotcha.
It's not particularly like, oh, these are great characters and I want to see them grow together, and it's not particularly funny. Again, like, it's definitely supposed to be comedic. It's just not landing for me. So gotcha. I don't think it's worth the hassle. But 20 minutes when I'm, laying in bed, can't think of anything else to do, I'll keep watching it, I guess. But that's Love After World Domination. It's fine.
Cool. Okay, my next one is Love All Play. This is the badminton show. So our main character, Ryo Mitsushima, he's just kind of like this good but not great badminton player, like middle school badminton player. Really wants to go to like this highly sought after high school badminton team, but he doesn't think he's good enough, so he's like, I'll just go to like this other high school with my friends. But then he gets basically a meeting with like the head coach of this prestigious school, and he's like, I want you to join the team. And he's just like, but my record wasn't very good. Why do you want me? And he's just like, I see the potential in you. So he's like, all right, let me think about it. And then he kind of has that like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this. I kind of just want to stay with my friends. What do I do? Talks to his older sister, who's went to that same school that he's going to. And she's just basically like, you should just do what you want. Follow your dream. His parents are kind of like against it because like his dad got they called it a sports recommendation, but like he got hurt, so he doesn't want his kid to go through it again, just for fear of that happening to him. So he's just like, I'm going to do this, but instead of going through a sports recommendation, I'm going to get like an academic recommendation. So I'm going to basically get into the school with my academics rather than the sports. Yeah. So he studies for it, he gets in, and then part of this thing is that he's able to practice with the team, the high school team, before actually joining the school, just for like a little extra practice.
Yeah.
The other thing is that his favorite like player goes to that school as well. He's like a year older than him, but he's like the national champion or whatever,
Yeah.
That typical.
Yeah, that bullshit.
Yeah.
That trope. Sorry, that bullshit.
But you're introduced to like his classmates / his
those they all have their character.
You got the like high energy, like let's do this team guy. You got the quiet, really good guy that nobody knows anything about. And you got two twins.
Yeah, like you described.
You got twins.
Like you described in Fanfare of Adolescence. They all have their character types.
Yeah. But yeah, they go to this practice. He learns that like his favorite player is kind of a dick.
Yep.
And then
never meet your heroes.
Never meet your heroes.
Get better heroes.
And then there are 3 episodes to this. So your first 2 episodes is him getting into school, and then kind of those practices, him learning about how hard it's going to be, or like how excited he's going to be about it, stuff like that. Then the 3rd episode is he actually starts school, and then they start getting some of the like tryout / club offer kids, not like scholarship kids, but like the we'd call like walk-ons, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't recommended, they weren't scouted, they're just like, okay, hey, I'm going to try to join the team, go to the tryouts.
So they start with, I think, at least 6 of them, but towards the end, it drops to like 2. It's just that stuff happening, them slowly realizing how hard it's going to be. But there's this one kid who's not very good, he's clumsy, kind of sucks at all this badminton, but he's passionate about it, and he really wants to do it, and he kind of looks like Joe.
Okay, got it. I'm picturing... Well, I'm not picturing our actual friend Joe. I'm picturing the guy we said looks like Joe from Sunny Boy.
Okay. He looks probably a little bit more like actual Joe.
Got it, okay.
But, yeah, that's about it. It's just meeting his teammates, basically.
That's where we're at. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's kind of more of just your typical sports anime. I feel like it's probably going to be your closest if you're wanting something like Kabaddi. It doesn't have quite the humor I think that Kabaddi had, just because
Kabaddi is a ridiculous sport, so it's going to have some naturally humorous moments of people misunderstanding it. Yeah,
but the main character is kind of bland, but the sports aspect is interesting enough to where I might keep watching it.
All right.
I feel like, you got like your 3 typical sports animes with Fanfare, Love All, Play, and Zidane, or the soccer one. I think Love All, Play might be your best sports anime. If you're gonna like pick which one's probably gonna be your best
of those 3 typical ones. Okay, and then you got your ridiculous sports anime with Birdie Wing.
Yeah, Birdie Wing's not in that category. That's your like crazy one.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not trying to be accurate.
You're like tropey, stereotypical sports anime of the 3 that I watched.
Love All Play was the best of those 3.
Probably might be the best.
Okay. So I'm assuming same with the other 2. You're gonna kind of keep an eye on it, but you wouldn't really recommend that I watch it.
No, I don't think you'll like it.
But if you like sports anime, you would recommend somebody to watch it.
Yeah, if you're interested in it.
Okay. So, my second to last one here is not a, as far as I can tell right now, not a romance. So there might be some romance subplots introduced. Okay. And that's The Dawn of the Witch. So, main character has no memories from before 3 years ago, which is when he entered this newly created magical school that's only been around for like 6 years or something. Mm-hmm. And but he's got like no memories from before that, and like the rules of the magical school are if you fail out, magic is too dangerous, so you'll lose all your memories of the schooling too. So he's like, I don't want to lose the only memories I have left. But he's like the worst student in the school. He can't control his spells. Like he can only cast a few of them after years of diligent study. But otherwise, like he tries to cast something and it just goes crazy. Mm-hmm. And so the principal of the school, or the headmaster, his name is Albus. And I'm like, really?
Really?
Really? But then I realized, oh, it's a woman. Okay. Oh. He gets summoned
sexy
to
Dumbledore.
Yeah, sexy. He gets summoned to her office. And then on the way there's like somebody, there's like what appears to be a young girl, but is actually a 300-year-old witch. Okay. Like knocking on the door, like, Albus, let me in. I need to talk to you. Let me in. And then eventually they both get in, and she's like, we're starting up this like field program where the South is still like really racist towards magic users. So we're going to be starting up like a little like field operation out there. I want you to go, and I'm going to be sending a few other people.
It's like a mission trip.
And it's like, you're going to be establishing a base there in a village or something.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be like a 3-year program or something. And, so you've got another chance because you're not developing at this school well enough. You might develop out in the field here. And the witch who's trying to get entrance is like, sounds interesting. I'll do it too. And she's like, what? No, I wasn't. Like, she wasn't summoned. The witch wasn't summoned. She just showed up. He's like, oh, no. That other witch you're going to have go, I bribed her to take her place. So I am going to be the one that goes. So like, all right. And they're also like, be very careful. Don't touch her magic staff because it's called the Witch Eater and it will eat your magic until you die.
Cool.
And like, she can only touch it because she's made a pact with it. So, so they're like, okay, you're going to go with this other girl who's like top of the class, and you're going to go with this lizard guy and these 2 know-nothing people. Okay. And the lizard guy is like, they're at their rendezvous, and he shows up, and he's like, I'm not going to go with you guys. I'm capable. I don't need an escort. I'm going to escort these other 2 guys that are going. We're going to go as a separate group. So they're like, okay, well, I guess, fine. They get started going. The main character gets like sick in the cart and he's like throwing up. And so like, okay, we got to pull over on the side of the road because getting motion sickness from this. Then they, as they're camping out, the group with the lizard guy, they get attacked by ex-church members that were like officially like witch hunters, but now that's been, that war has ended and that group's been disbanded, they're not official anymore, but they are, they're still alive and they're still anti-witch, and they start hunting the lizard people. The other group shows up like a day late to the town and like, oh, the 2 people that were with the lizard guy are there, and he's like, yeah, what a jerk he was. We were being attacked by thieves, and he said, I don't need to be slowed down by you people that can't even cast a spell, and ran off on his own with the map. And they're like, oh, he was probably witch hunters. He probably realized that and was trying to protect you guys by saying that you weren't, like actual good mage casters, and tried to throw them off. And they're like, oh, well, whatever. Still like, I'm done with this. I don't want to, I'm going back to regular school now or whatever. And then the teacher's like, okay, you 2 stay here. I'm going to go
look for
the lizard guy. And then they're eventually just like, oh, we should look for him too, right? And he's like, I guess, okay. The main girl at the top of her class, she's like talking like, oh, I seem cheerful. And this might have been before they showed up. It's like, I seem cheerful, but I'm really like just putting the smile on to make people like me. And I've practiced it a lot. And there was a time when witch hunters, when they realized that, it's not just regular witch hunters. It's going to be like, she sees some clue that makes her think it's going to be like a really powerful witch hunter. It's like, I ran into one of those as a kid. I went to go visit a friend of mine, and they burned down her entire village. And I ran away. They're like, if you have a friend here, then I'm going to have to try you as a witch too. And she's like, I don't have any friends here, and ran away. It's a little girl. And she's like, I'll probably do that again. I'll probably, not be able to help and run away. And he's like, I don't know. I think things, from what little I know about you, I think things would be different if your friend was still alive and there's still like hope for them. And she's like, okay, I guess we'll continue. They find the guy. The teacher, they left like well after the teacher, basically. Teacher finds him, starts fighting him off. We learn the lizard guy can sort of regenerate. Like they find Makes a piece sense. Of his tail, and like his foot like got like impaled at one point, and it's sort of started to heal. But the teacher shows up and starts like outclassing this mage fighter because she can't really cast spells because the staff eats all her magic constantly but leaves her alive. But the staff can do stuff, and she's got the upper hand. But then the other two people, the main character and the top of the class girl, show up. So he's like able to take the main character as like a hostage. Like, throw down a staff or I'll kill this kid.
Do it.
At first she's like, do it. And then she like gives into the bluff and throws down her staff. And the witch hunter reveals that the top of the class girl's like, oh, you don't have to keep up your charade. Like, you can tell them now that I'm going to kill these two people that you were a spy for the church this whole time. And she's like ashamed of it. Mm-hmm. But and she had like antlers as a kid. So like she was shunned as like a child of a demon and like, had her antlers sawed off and like was guilt tripped into doing
Fall
stuff.
Out Boy video.
Is there a Fall Out Boy video where a girl has antlers?
No, a guy has antlers.
Oh, okay. But she was like pressured into this. We get that backstory real quick. Something happens. The main guy accidentally or purposefully picks up the staff for some reason. And like a big like explosion sort of thing happens and he passes out. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, how am I still alive after this? Because it either sends that guy off running or defeats him. I don't actually remember, but there's like, how am I alive after touching the staff? And it's like, supposedly your magic is just infinite, so the staff got full.
Okay.
And that's probably why you can't control your spells, because goddamn do you have a lot of magic. Of course it goes wrong. So it's like, okay, and that's all I know. Yeah. And it's like, so maybe there's a little bit of a romance that could develop with the top of the class girl. There's a little bit of romance that could develop with the 300-year-old lolly witch.
Yeah.
Just from like stuff I've seen in the opening credits. I think it's gonna be like people are gonna use. He's gonna like somehow, just again looking at the opening credits, I think he's gonna somehow be able to basically be like a recharge battery for people. It's like,
okay,
the witch girl who can't cast spells might be able to just steal some of his magic for a little bit and cast spells. Mm-hmm. Or like other people might be able to do the same thing. So I have a feeling that it might eventually turn into sort of a romance, but it's mostly just a fantasy action magic school thing. So we'll see. Well, I'm interested. I want to watch it more. So that's the Dawn of the Witch. I don't know if I'd have to watch more of it to see if it's worth it for you to watch. So.
Yeah, so I'm not usually into fantasy, so. Okay, so my last one is Sorry Aro Utility. It is a 15-minute OVA, and it's just this like 3 girls playing golf.
Okay.
It's like the basic premise is like this girl sees another girl like practicing, I guess. She's her like hit the ball really hard. And she's like, oh, that seems cool. So she like starts playing golf, and like 2 of the girls are like pretty good at it, but she's not good at it. And like her whole like goal for this round is like get par on 1 hole. So it's just her trying to get par on once. Struggles. She's not great at golf yet, and then it's the other girls just supporting her, trying to make her feel good, saying it's just a game, just have fun,
lighten up, loosen up, don't be stiff.
Yeah, and it's just really fun, cute, 14-minute OVA. That's it. They're just playing golf.
Got it. I kind of figured when you're like it's 15 minutes. Like, is it just them playing golf?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's cute.
They don't have to have a plot. It's just...
She calls their ball Ham. She keeps losing them, so at the end, her ball's like Ham 5. She lost the first 4.
Okay.
So yeah, watch it. It's 14 minutes.
Okay, I'll watch it. Maybe. I'll get around to it. The last one on my list here, which is actually the first one that I watched when we went our separate ways here, is... Trapped in a Dating Sim. And I don't know if you heard me. I deliberately yelled out from my room, like, damn it, I'm hooked. It's just, I like the personality of the main character some. And it's...
Just describe it as short as possible.
Okay. Main character, he is being forced to play this dating sim by his little sister. She's got some dirt on him. It's like, I want to see like the ending of this, but I can't be bothered to play it. So I need you to go ahead and 100% this game. Otherwise, I'll tell Mom about that thing. No idea what that thing is, but I just get him being like, fucking hate this game, and he's playing through it, and it's like, this balance is terrible, and it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna pay to win because you can buy some super powerful ship, and it's like the tone is all over the place. It's fantasy with magic, but then there's robot fights and spaceships.
It's one of those games.
And he's like, this is terrible. And he 100% completes it, and it takes him like several days to do so. We see like he goes through several night and day cycles. He's like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna go get some food from the convenience store. Falls down the outside stairs, lands on his head, and dies. Transition to, I don't want to die this way. And then it's a little kid in a field saying, I don't want to die this way. And then his memories start to come back of his previous life, and he's like, fuck, I'm in this dating sim game. I recognize the symbol for this academy. So he's like, I don't recognize my name, so I'm not a main character. I'm just some background guy. And he like, the next like 5 to 10 years of his life, he's just coming to terms with like, I could be happy as a background guy. I just set up this farmland. His dad is like a minor baron, but in this world, like, women have all the power and men are basically treated like women were in Victorian era. Slightly different because they are, if women were in power, I think they would. It's still like a bad situation both ways, but it's a slightly different treatment. But he's basically, it's like, you gotta, you're basically just going to be used as marriage stock for, since you're a minor noble or whatnot.
With racehorses.
And like his...
you're just going to sell your breeding rights.
Yeah. And his dad still has like a mistress somewhere. Like the woman in charge of the house is not his mom, but like it is his dad's wife. And his dad's just like, I'm just happy I got married. Like that's, and the woman is like, I'm gonna marry you off to a friend of mine. And this is like, it's this Witch of the Waste looking old woman who's been married 7 times, and all of her previous husbands have died in the war or something in military. And it's like, she's clearly just after my widower's pension. Like, she wants to marry me, send me off to war, and then I'll die, and she'll get more money. And she's like, that's too bad. I decide what happens in your life, and you should be grateful that you're getting married at all. It's like, I'm supposed to go to this academy. It's like, a third son going to the academy? I don't know. He's like, so I just need, like, it basically comes down to like, okay, I can get out of this marriage if I can get enough money to make it worth it. And he's like, I remember in the pay to win section, like I based off of the year that I was born, I should be like the same age as the main character. And you can go to this abandoned island and pick up this, spaceship as like your pay to win thing. And canonically in the game's lore, she would not have been old enough for the game to start yet. So it should still be there. I can go there early and pick up this super powerful pay-to-win ship. Yeah. So he takes like a small flying boat because they live on floating islands, and he uses his game knowledge. Because also when he was a kid, he wrote down everything he could remember about the game so that he could try to survive in the world. And he had just recently gotten all of his memories back from when he 100% completed it. So... with all the various endings. So he has a very intimate knowledge of this game, despite not wanting to. So he's like, okay, he almost dies in the process, but he gets the ship, and the ship's AI is sort of like detects him as like, oh, you're one of those new humans that are obsessed with magic. I'm surprised you would use like he uses a bomb against him, but it's not a magic bomb. It's like, I'm surprised you would use that. You new humans are always fascinated with with your magic weapons. I'm surprised you use a technological weapon. And the main character's just like, well, I don't know if I can know. Anyway, he's just like, he doesn't like him. Because he's a new human, but he has to obey him because he's able to register the ship as his. And then he runs a scan. It's like, oh, you've got like new human and old human in you somehow. You're some sort of weird hybrid, which I think is just signifying that, okay, he's picking up on the fact that he's not You know, he was reincarnated into this world. And then he uses the ship to get a bunch of treasure. And he's like, I'm able to start my own kingdom. I just need to find a wife. And he's like, hopefully I can just be this one really low grade, like noble position here with the money that I buy. But they're like, nope, we're going to give you a barony. And so now you have to marry somebody of a higher class than that. He's like, dang it. I've got to find an annoying marriage partner at this academy. So that's the setup for the show.
Okay.
So he goes to school. He wants to be a background character, but like he's got some experience adventuring in this overpowered ship. He sees a scene from the dating sim happen, but it's like, that's not the main character. That's somebody else. Weird. Doesn't think much of it. But then like scenes keep happening for this other character. And the villainess in the game, which villainous is a strong word. Just like in the game, the main character is like a commoner going to the school and gets the prince and his friends to fall in love with her or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And the main antagonist is this bitchy daughter of a duke that's betrothed to the prince. But you know, when he sees this outside perspective of this girl who's not the main character, but is, you know, playing it out fairly beat for beat, because he also sees the main character and she's just also there, but not in that position. He's like, again, weird, but whatever. I'm just a background character. Don't get involved. Mm-hmm. But you kind of start to see the mean girl's like, oh, she's not all that mean. She's just like worried about the prince being seen as indecent for like she's got some bitchy characteristics, but you can see that, oh, she's actually like sort of being bullied by the prince and his friends, and like there's something weird going on with this other girl that's kind of like manipulating them. And then the episode 2 ends with or maybe it's episode 3. There might have been 3 episodes of this out. Ends with her challenging the one girl to a duel, and then the main character is just like, the prince is like, well, I'll be our champion, and then like all of his friends are also like, we'll all be, and it's like, all right, fine, I'll step in and help out because I really hate this prince guy. He's such a douchebag, and all of his friends. He also has this ship scan that this girl is also somehow a mix of old human and new human, so he thinks, okay, this has got to be, she's got to also have
memories or something.
Yeah, she's also reincarnated into this world and is inserting herself into this position and throwing off the balance of things. So it's sort of I think it's going to shape into, it's this dude versus this other girl competing against this dating sim. Like the one girl is got the prince and all of his compatriots on her side, and I think he's just going to sort of team up with the person who's supposed to be the heroine and the person that's supposed to be the bitchy antagonist.
Okay.
Because they're not like mad at each other because the heroine is not mooching in on the prince, so she has no reason to not like that person. I don't know. It's filling out the boxes. I'm liking it. I'm gonna keep watching it. I would not recommend it to you until I finished it, and I'll see how good it is. But
okay.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Gotcha.
And it's probably going to be one of those things where he just, because of the advantages he has, like it typically is like he's got those advantages, so he's going to be unbeatable. But I like the dynamic of, there's somebody else in here, and we've got to learn to compete. He also realizes that like she doesn't have as firm a grasp on it as he does, because she says a line that he's like expecting her to say. Like one of those scenes is playing out, and it's like, oh, this is the next thing that's said, and she says something slightly different. He's like, she doesn't even have the dialogue exactly right. And it's like, how do you have the dialogue exactly right?
Because
it's been 10 years, but you wrote it all down, I guess. So, I don't know. The main character has a sort of a personality, and he's not particularly lecherous. He's not a bland nothing. Mm-hmm. He's just sort of like sick of the prince's shit, and has some slight advantages from being in. From I think that Chip is more going to turn out to be his overpowered tool.
Gotcha.
But that's Trapped in a Dating Sim. It's gonna be. I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm hooked.
Cool.
That's also the last show that we needed to talk about, and we're like an hour and 40 minutes in here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is the next episode releasing your plan, or do you think we should hold off on that? I know that's the next one we're recording.
I don't know. We'll have to discuss it.
We're either gonna watch Kaguya-sama Love is War, at least season 1, as the next episode, or we'll have an episode special thing, which may release as a special or may release as a full episode. But that's, I guess I can't say what we're doing next, and I should never say what we're doing next because we might change our minds.
Yes.
It's happened before. But you can follow us on Twitter at anime_territory. You can watch us stream some stuff on Twitch occasionally, twitch.tv/DementedGoku. We're on YouTube as Anime Territory. We're on podcast platforms as Anime Territory. Check us out. Am I missing anything?
Nope, you got it all.
All right. You are now leaving the Anime Territory.
Goodbye.